Today, I'm travelling on one of the world's largest airlines, an airline that's pioneered the ultra-low-cost model in Europe and now operates a whopping 3,600 daily flights across 250 destinations in 37 countries, spanning Europe, North Africa and the Middle East. That's right, it's Ryanair. So join me, Jetaway Joe, as I take a hop from Manchester in the UK to Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and I'll tell you just how low cost this flight actually was. Stay tuned to the end to find out. But first I've got to get to the airport. It's 2:45 in the morning. I can't decide whether it's too late, too early, or is it just in the middle of the night? I've got to get over to Manchester Airport this morning now. I was meant to catch the train at 2:10 this morning. However, I got an email at 10 o'clock last night telling me that Transpennine Express had cancelled the train. So instead, I had to ring the taxi company up that was due to take me from here, from my home, to Leeds train station to just change the booking and say, can you take me to Manchester Airport instead? So it's going to cost me quite a bit more, but hopefully should get me there in about an hour. And I guess silver lining to that is I got an extra hour in bed. So I've had a couple of hours sleep, feeling pretty groggy, but I swear it's not going to be a video of me complaining about how tired I am. I say that now, let's wait and see how it is when I get to the airport. But taxi should be here in about 10 minutes, so let's finish packing and let's get going. My taxi driver arrived bang on the dot at 3 in the morning, and he wasted no time in belting it down the M62. He set a new record for me in getting to Manchester Airport from my home between Wakefield and Leeds. 59 minutes door to door was all it took to do the 57-mile journey across the Pennines. Manchester's the airport us northerners love to hate. Just 3 days prior to me filming this, a power cut affecting Terminals 1 and 2 caused 70 outbound and 50 inbound flights to be cancelled, resulting in travel chaos, as the Daily Mail would call it, for 90,000 passengers. Ryanair used Terminal 3, the smallest of Manchester's 3 terminal, and thankfully no such chaos this morning. There was quite the queue at Ryanair bag drop, but I had just a small bag on Ryanair's most basic fare, so I went straight through security. Despite the usual 6 AM rush of departures, the airport was quiet and Terminal 3 was a breeze. I think that might be a new record, an hour to get from my house to departures in Manchester. Sometimes it's quicker than Leeds, that's absolutely mental. So although we may love to hate Manchester Airport, on this occasion it pulled it out the bag. Dare I say, it was a pleasure. Wanting to stretch my legs, I went for a walk down the gates area and it was eerily quiet. Terminal 3 offers some great runway views too, but given the time of day, there wasn't much action going on except for this heavily delayed TUI 787 landing back from the Greek island of Rhodes. My flight FR3234 to Eindhoven, the board telling me to relax, and well, that's easier said than done when I've blown a £100 black hole into my bank account the day before payday. Thank you, Transpennine Express. Anyway, I'm not bitter, and although I wasn't overly hungry, I settled on a coffee and a croissant for brekkie before boarding. The airport was a lot busier by the time boarding came around, especially in the bars and restaurants. They were full with Brits abroad on the 6 AM pints, awaiting the hourly Scalicanti Express to take them for their week's holiday in the sun. And it was here, ladies and gentlemen, that I saw it. A whopping £15.49 for a breakfast, excluding drink and toast might I add. And that, my friends, is what cost more than my plane ticket. Stay tuned to the end when I tell you just how much I paid for this flight. Boarding was through gate 49, which gave a great view of our aircraft today, EIHGP, a Boeing 737 MAX 8-200 that was delivered to Ryanair in July 2021. Ryanair have two boarding lanes, priority and non-priority, with me and my small carry-on bag being in the latter. Priority boarding was enforced, which was good as those customers had paid for it. That said, boarding itself was swift and pain-free. There was no mad rush from people to get on board. It was just a chilled walk across the tarmac to the back steps, and I'm in my seat. I'm in seat 32A on this trip down to Eindhoven. It's your typical low-cost slimline seat. A bit firm on the back and bum, but for an hour's flight it'll do. There's a QR code to access the in-flight menu and the safety card on the back of the seat in front of you, and there's also a folding tray table too. Legroom's on the tight side though, but I guess that's to be expected with Ryanair. They cram 197 seats into their maxes, and at 6'1", I felt a little bit cramped. If you want a window seat though, 32A has a perfectly aligned window. No contortionisms needed here to look out of it. Overall, it's fine for an hour's hop, but some of Ryanair's routes like Paphos to Newcastle, Dalaman to Dublin or Tenerife to Edinburgh could clock up to 4.5 or even 5 hours long, which I think would feel like an eternity in this seat. It'd be 5 hours of purgatory, I reckon. I think I've got a row of free to myself. Get it. Rows 1. Having a row of free to yourself is basically winning the low-cost carrier lottery. Boarding was complete in no time at all, thanks in part to the light load on this morning's flight. I'd guess it was around 50 or 60% full. There was quite a few seats taken up front and in the middle, but absolutely no one sat at the back of the plane, and this was fine by me. We pushed back a couple of minutes early, and it didn't take long to taxi down to runway 5 left, before rocketing up into the midsummer morning above Manchester. Airborne out of Manchester, and it was a beautiful morning for flying. It was a steep climb up, and not long after takeoff, the crew sprang into action. The cabin crew on this flight were excellent. They were really friendly and gave great service to a family a few rows in front when a young girl felt a bit airsick shortly after takeoff. I mentioned earlier when looking at the seat that Ryanair's in-flight menu is on the back of the seat in front of you. When you scan the QR code, it'll take you to the in-flight magazine and menu. It's all buy on board. You've got sandwiches, snacks, hot drinks, soft drinks, alcohol. You get the drift. The prices are similar to any other airline offering buy on board from the UK too. It was just a normal coffee for me today, which was fine. I'll dock points for the pointless single-use plastic cup that the milk is given in though. Two very large cups of coffee within an hour of each other isn't the best idea, so I had to nip to the loo. There's two tiny toilets at the back of these Maxes. It was spotlessly clean though, but I was probably the only person to use it during the flight. It's a bit tight. We climbed up to 37,000 feet, but while flying over Norfolk, then descended down to 21,000 feet. The flight stayed at this altitude across the North Sea, which seemed a bit odd. Do let me know in the comments if anyone knows why. Routing took us directly over Rotterdam, and we got some great views of the world's largest seaport outside of Asia, as well as lovely views of the flat green fields and waterways the Netherlands is world famous for. There was a couple of twists and turns on the descent before touching down on runway 3 at Eindhoven Airport, 59 minutes after taking off from Manchester. That felt like the world's longest landing, the pilot using up all of Eindhoven's 3-kilometre runway to then make a right turn at the end of the runway for a quick taxi onto the stand. Welcome to Eindhoven! What a glorious day! 25 degrees of glorious summer sunshine, something we can only dream of in the British summer of 2024. It was another walk across the tarmac over to the terminal building. Passport formalities with stamps at the border only took a couple of minutes, so I sailed through the airport. Eindhoven is the second busiest airport in the Netherlands and has a big low-cost carrier presence. Ryanair, Transavia and Wizz all dominate the departure and arrival boards here. That said, arriving into Eindhoven was quick and efficient. It was also really easy to work out public transport. Across this pleasant plaza area where you'll find fountains and a couple of coffee shops is a bus station where there's a shuttle bus every 5 minutes during the day to Eindhoven Central Station. A one-way ticket for the 25-minute journey will set you back €4.80. So, Ryanair. Come on, they weren't that bad. I paid a grand total of £15 sterling for this flight from Manchester to Eindhoven. This was on Ryanair's base fare, meaning I had to take a small bag only that would fit under the seat in front of me. Dare I say it though, this was a good flight. It did exactly what I needed it to do. It got me from A to B bang on time, and I wanted to do that as cheap as possible. So it definitely ticked all the boxes when breakfasts in the airport cost more money than my plane ticket. I think a lot of people love to hate on Ryanair, probably because they won't take responsibility themselves for not reading up on their strict luggage rules, seating arrangements and different fare levels. I said earlier in the video that I wouldn't like to be in this seat for a 4 or 5 hour slog down to the Canary Islands or Cyprus. Maybe I'll have to put my money where my mouth is and see if I still have the same opinion of Ryanair after a flight like that. Let me know though in the comments, what's your experience of Ryanair been like? If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and hit subscribe for more flight reviews and trip reports. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.